Bladee is a Swedish emo cloud rapper who has been making the waves on the internet for the past few years, gained a nice bit of traction. He seems to be part of the ever-growing emo rap scene that's been making a lot of waves over these past few years, to the point where it's hit the mainstream with some major artists like Post Malone and Juice WRLD and many others too. Even without the mainstream, this style of music seems to have garnered a lot of attention for younger audiences. I for one do sort of see the appeal, especially if you do relate to many of the lyrics that artists like this write in their songs. Lil Peep had quite a major influence on a lot of people, it seems, after his passing, and only since his passing actually his music has seemed to have garnered quite a cult following. And I appreciate the uniqueness of this style of music because it has a very specific vibe and style, and these artists that are making this music do seem to be fairly experimental, especially Bladee. I think his approach is quite experimental to the way he crafts songs. However, I just don't enjoy it. Like, I've tried out this latest release, Icedancer. I find the sonic palette of the album to be quite ugly. All the elements come together in a really gross way. Like, not to say that what he's singing or what he's saying is gross or anything like that, but the sound is just dizzying and annoying. I just can't stand it, really. I'm just struggling to find like almost anything from the sound that I can say I truthfully, honestly enjoy. The thing is that I do really hate branding an entire genre of music as being, you know, worthless or pointless or all of it's bad, because I think that's really ignorant to do. But I just think this style of music, I've struggled so far to sort of find anything from it, because even when you read into the lyrics, there's really not that much being said here that is really interesting to listen to. For me, it just sounds really surface level. Like, I don't find anything compelling about the way he writes his songs. And considering how, you know, I feel as though he's putting his all into this music, I just feel like the outcome is pretty... One of the lines he comes out with every so often, like, just crop out in the worst kind of way. Or that one where he like makes a reference to Die Hard, and he's like, "I would die hard for you," or whatever. Oh, bloody hell. But honestly, you do have to really hone in on the lyrics to understand what he's saying sometimes, because the vocal manipulations and, like, you know, the mixing is so like messy and so distorted at times that it really makes it hard for me to kind of care about what he's saying. And that's the thing about this album as well, like, every track is just copy and pasted to me. Like, I couldn't even point out a track that has something that stands out that another track didn't already have. Like, it's pretty much track for track for track the exact same thing. I can't imagine how even his fans would listen to this and think this is sonic progression, you know, this is new for him. It really isn't. It's just 19 tracks where every track is basically doing the same thing. And he could have really cut this down to 10 tracks. It's not that the album runs on way too long. It's only 43 minutes, which is fair enough, you know. I can't really complain about the runtime there, but it would just make way more sense if you were to do a 19-track album where you at least progressed your sound in a new and interesting fashion. But I don't really hear anything new, unless I'm missing something here. But perhaps there are some tracks where maybe his vocals sound slightly different. There's less distortion, there's less manipulation, there's less, you know, insane mixing that's messed everything up. There are a few moments, yeah, but for the most part that's not really anything to compliment the album with. And although I am talking very negatively about this album, I must say ever since the sonic appeal of this album has improved ever so slightly. So it's not like I'm listening to this and thinking it's horrific or the worst thing I've ever heard. But it's reading into the lyrics that actually makes this album more of a drag for me. Like, it makes it more of a painful experience, especially that intermission track. It's really hard to feel any kind of sympathy when he talks about relationships and you know, girls and heartbreak. When he comes out with a song like this, on the chorus he's like, if dancing on the ice is what she wanna do, then I'm gonna let her do what she wanna do. As if like that's something to be bragging about. Like, oh, actually, I let my girl do whatever she wants. You know, she can do whatever, you know, like as if that needs to be stated anyway. Is the bar set that low that at the end of the song you have to brag like 4 or 5 times and say, I'm gonna let her do what she wanna do? Like, is that the bar these days? Like, you know, that should just be mandatory. Like, there shouldn't be any kind of discussion on this. You just let your other half or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever do what they want to do anyway, unless it's some kind of harm to them. That just goes without saying. Like, you don't need to make it a statement. I don't know, man. This song really annoyed me. Unless it has some kind of other meaning that I've completely missed, and do let me know in the comments. But to me, that song reeked of like just grossness. I think that's my major issue with this album. Like, it's his mentality. It's his, the world revolves around my feelings and nothing else matters. But it kind of doesn't really work like that. Also, the ice metaphors that are thrown in throughout the album. Like, there's a track called Frosty the Snowman. I mean, come on, it's as basic as it can possibly get. I just can't get with this. Perhaps this is maybe one of those kind of styles of music that with time people will sort of start understanding and latching onto and realizing, hey, maybe this was actually better than we initially said. But for now, I'm gonna go as far as saying that it's not really very good. It's a 4 out of 10 for me. Let me know what you think of this album. Let me know what you think of his previous work. And if I'm, you know, being harsh, let me know as well. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews if you haven't already. Let me know what I should review next, because there's not much out right now. So if you point my attention to something that isn't getting, you know, much hype or anything, then maybe I'll give it a chance and review it. So let me know. Have a good day. Goodbye.